What's up, everyone? Today, we'll be going back in time to a year before Souls-like was even a term. Before anyone knew about Hidetaka Miyazaki. Back to the year of 2009. The year that it all began. The year Demon Souls was released. That's right. For the next installment in my shitty series of talking about the Souls games, I'm talking about everyone's favorite, Demon Souls. Demon Souls is definitely the game I've played the least amount out of all of the games. I've only played it one time, and it's the only one I've never 100%ed. So, technically, I haven't 100%ed all the games.
You're a phony! Hey, this guy's a great big phony!
But that's besides the point. It only makes sense that I talk about the game that started what would become my favorite video game series. I do want to preface that I'm not going to be really all that critical of Demon Souls, and I'm not really going to go into depth with things that I think are flaws of the game like I've tried to do in the other ones. Because, dude, it was the first fucking Souls game. It was the first one. It was back in 2009, man. This shit hadn't been done yet. Like, no shit, it's gonna have some flaws. Like, yeah, no shit, the rest of the games are better than Demon Souls. Not really paving new grounds with that statement right there. So, it just feels really redundant to really go into depth about its flaws. I just kind of want to talk about the game and my experience with Demon Souls. And honestly, Demon Souls was a lot different than I thought it was going to be when being compared to the other games. I thought that it would be pretty similar to Dark Souls, when in reality, I really wouldn't say it was. Sure, it's on a fundamental level pretty similar, but there's a lot that I would say is pretty different. And I was going in blind for my first playthrough. I had never watched anything. And just to clarify, I played the original one, not the remake. My ass was not about to spend $70 on a fucking Demon Souls remake. You catch my ass dead before I would do that. Holy shit. I can definitely say it was certainly an unforgiving game, and it's absolutely the hardest part of the game. There are no bonfires or anything in Demon Souls. When you go into the world, you just have to fucking lock in, or you are fucked. And yeah, to be honest, that did scare me a bit. I thought I would get stuck in a lot of areas because of this, but to be honest, no, not really. It wasn't that bad. There were only like 2 or 3 worlds that I got stuck in for a bit of time, and which ones they were is a mystery to me. I don't fucking remember. But once I got to the boss, I was pretty much all good. None of the bosses were really hard for me, I would say. Which again, I didn't expect any of these bosses to be hard. Again, it's the first time they did this. I didn't expect anything all that difficult. Flame Lurker might have been really the only boss that actually took me a few attempts. And maybe Penetrator too. I don't remember though. It's been a while since I've played the game. But I never really got stuck on a boss in Demon Souls. Which is why I feel like there are 2 routes that people could end up going down when they play Demon Souls if they're coming from like Elden Ring, for example. Either A, the game will be really easy because, believe it or not, Demon Souls bosses are much easier than Elden Ring. Or they'll end up on route B and find the game difficult because it is so much more unforgiving than Elden Ring. If you die, then fucking womp womp, man. Get your ass back to the beginning. You gotta do all that shit again. And if you die, then there goes your max HP. Fucking sucks to be you, I guess. And I do know that there have been people that struggled on Demon Souls because it's so much more unforgiving. But personally, I feel like I went more down path A, and just want to say there's nothing wrong if you get stuck down path B. If you struggle on Demon Souls, that's perfectly fine. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just want to point that out. I'm not saying that if you struggle on Demon Souls, then you just, clearly are not an elite skilled gamer. I'm just simply better. But there was one area. One little tiny area that had my ass fucking tweaking. I was about to fucking drop kick my controller because of this fuck ass area. The Swamp of Sorrow. This area, this fucking hellish place, this piece of fucking shit swamp is hands down, no questions asked, the worst swamp of any of the games. None of the others even come anywhere close to this fucking area. It makes Blight Town look like a child's fucking ball pit. This fucking place sucks. Words cannot, and I mean cannot at all describe how fucking horrible this area was. Nothing. There is nothing. There is nothing good to say about this fucking swamp. I hate it. The fuck ton of enemies, the mud that you have to walk in that makes you walk about as fast as a fucking dead chipmunk. The fuck ass poison, so that's great too. You walk at a fucking grandma's pace and you're dying the entire time and there's enemies coming after you. You can't roll through anything, so you just have to hope to God they don't get to you. And the area is pretty large and kind of is hard to navigate. So you end up getting stuck in there for fucking hours. It's horrible. The government could use this as a fucking torture device, and I'm telling you right now, anyone would fucking talk. Anyone. I'd tell you all my secrets if you told me right now that I had to go through the Swamp of Sorrows again. I'd tell you everything. I could not handle that shit again. I could not. It's fucking horrible. It's literally everything that no one wants in a video game, all just combined into one evil amalgamation of fucking horrible shit. It really lives up to the name, Swamp of Sorrow. So fuck you, Swamp of Sorrow. I will never forget what you did to me. Never. Demon's Souls was a very quick game for me. And I just think, in general, it's a pretty quick game, which makes sense. Again, for like the 30th time, it was their first game like this. Or it wasn't FromSoft's first game, but it was their first Souls game. I think it was probably about 15 to 20-ish hours for me to beat the game, I think. Which might seem like a lot for some people, but basically every other Souls game took me around 40 to 50 hours to finish my first playthrough. So this was very quick for me, which isn't a bad thing. I expected the game to be pretty quick. I expected to get it all done in a week, and that's exactly what I did. And I can strongly say that I had a good time. It wasn't anything spectacular or life-changing, it was just good. And that's what I expected. An alright game that I would quickly go through and play, have a solid time playing, and yeah, that's exactly what happened. It actually was pretty interesting, though, playing the first game. The one that literally kicked it all off. And seeing how far they've come and grown through their games from Demon's Souls to Elden Ring. To be honest, I thought I was going to be really annoyed with the slower, more clunky movement in Demon's Souls since it was old, but to be honest, it didn't bother me at all. And I think that was because I just expected it to be that way. Unlike Dark Souls 2, where I expected the movement and everything to be better than Dark Souls, yet somehow it fucking annoyed me more. I don't know how they pulled that shit off. I was coming into the game expecting it to be janky, so it didn't bother me all that much. Now, if you've watched literally any of my other Souls videos, you know that I recommend every single one of them at the end of the video. I always recommend that you play them. But this might be the only Souls game that I don't strongly recommend. Not because it's bad, but because I really don't think you're going to miss out on much. I feel like you would be perfectly fine never playing Demon's Souls. Whereas with the other games, I feel like you're missing out on a lot if you don't play them. But not to say I don't recommend Demon's Souls. I still do. I think people should play it just to see where it started, and I think it's always kind of fun to go back and play the first one. But I'm not recommending it as strongly. It isn't something that I'm really trying to get people to play. Like, I really want people to play Dark Souls or Bloodborne or Elden Ring or Sekiro. But I'm not on my fucking hands and knees, begging them to please play Demon's Souls. God, please, you have to play Demon's Souls. I just don't see the point. Because, again, I just don't think you're missing out on that much. So if you don't ever play Demon's Souls, don't sweat it. You're going to be perfectly fine if you never do play it. This is a bit of a shorter and less in-depth than the rest of the Souls videos, but I just don't have a lot to say about Demon's Souls, to be honest. It's an alright game. I could probably go into more detail, but I feel like it would lead to me regurgitating the same thing over and over again. So I'm not going to continue talking about it. I think I've really gotten my point across about Demon's Souls. It's a good game. It's not bad. Especially for their first one, it isn't that bad. But yeah, I just don't have a lot to say about Demon's Souls. So I think that's where I'm going to wrap the video up. I do hope you enjoyed the video. All of you have a great day. See you later.